What's up, traders? Sandro O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is August 5th, 2021. What a crazy trading day. Before we go into our video, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in the video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any single one of my trades. All right, team, let's jump in. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I just learned how to do that. All right, let's jump into it. S&P 500. See, we're improving the quality of these videos slowly but surely over time. All right, S&P 500 box scores for the day. S&P up 0.63%. Geez, we had the NASDAQ QQQ also up 0.63%. Nice finish there. We had the IWM small caps finish up 1.8%. And we had the Dow Jones finish up 0.75%. So really nice movement on all of the headline indices. And yesterday, we closed essentially on the lows. So on that note, it was like, who knows what's going to happen today? Are we going to slip into the abyss and jump below this monthly value area, or what's going to happen? And today, the market followed the happy path, and we pushed out to the upper end of this consolidation range that we've been in for the past 2 weeks. Now it is 6 o'clock, so we can see these overnight futures. Looks like they're opening up about flat. But yeah, the price has consolidated in time. And now this 20-day simple moving average has really caught up to price very nicely. So we've sort of reset, so to speak, and now we are no longer overbought on this headline index. Let's jump over to the NASDAQ. That has been the leading index, and you'll see that in the chart right here. So NASDAQ also above the monthly value area. Really nice finish for the NASDAQ, and we closed above this prior high of 15,125. Let's flip over to the Russell. So the Russell, a much different picture. The Russell has been the weakest of all the indices, and these small caps, they continue to be sold each and every day. Now it looks like we're starting to see some strength in the small caps. The small caps had lost the 20-day simple moving average yesterday, and they closed right on the lows of the day. Now today we got a huge reversal. So this is definitely an expectation breaker. I'm sure a lot of investors and traders, they thought, oh, we're going to slip into the abyss. Maybe we're going to test this 200-day moving average. And we got the exact opposite. So I will definitely be looking for follow through in this small caps group. I also know there's a ton of short interest in that group. So pretty much, there's a lot of people loaded to one side of the boat. They think it's going to head lower. A lot of times when that occurs, the opposite happens. Okay, Dow Jones. Let's pull up our YM. Dow Jones, very similar. Dow Jones, sort of middling. We're still stuck inside of this value area. The value area is just where 70% of transactions in a prior time period have occurred. So this is the monthly value area for August. This is measuring, okay, in July, where did most of the transactions occur? And they were within this zone. Okay, so those are the headline indices. Let's jump a little bit deeper, and we're going to go to our market breadth. Market breadth yesterday was incredibly weak. And today we bounced back very nicely. We had 90% breadth in the Dow Jones, 83% in the small caps in IWM. Worst was the NASDAQ with a 63% breadth. But overall, these are very good numbers. And the reason why I bring this up, when market breadth is very positive, that means that if you're trading individual securities, your odds of success are moving up. When the breadth is like yesterday, where it was just terrible, it's tough sledding out there. So it's good to see market breadth pick up. Our FinViz heat map, you can see we got much broader participation across the board. We had some of these travel names that are performing very well now. Booking had just reported their earnings. They had a nice earnings beat. And take a look at this. So Booking. Booking had a nice up 5.85% day. So maybe this little group can get going. Let's pull up Expedia. Expedia also up 5.5%. And Airbnb. Airbnb making the turn here, trading above value. This is one that I am definitely watching for tomorrow. And yeah, all these travel names, they seem to be pretty bid today. So we have those. And you can see stocks like Disney, stocks that really weren't participating. Oil stocks were up, utilities. So yeah, strength across the board. Rather than the past week or so, it was really just like, okay, Microsoft's rallying, Google, Nvidia, just a few names. So this is nice to see things broaden out a bit. Sectors. Let's take a look at our best performing sectors. So this list, these are all ranked in terms of momentum. And semiconductors currently have the highest momentum, but today they took a breather. They were only up 0.02%. Some of the leaders for today, we had YOLO and MSOS. Those are our cannabis ETFs. We had ARKG had a very strong day at 4.34%. Let's pull up both of those. So we'll pull up ARKG. Yeah, and this closed above all the key moving averages. So that's something to watch for as well. MSOS and YOLO, these are pretty much in downtrends. I'm not really as interested until they can clear these key moving averages. Although I do think MSOS is going to make for a great long-term investment at some point. Let's see. Yeah, we had PRNT, digital printing companies, or 3D printing companies, advancing blockchain names up 3.23%. Let's talk about our blockchain. Today was the EIP 1559 Ethereum upgrade. And the upgrade went very smoothly. So no hiccups, no nothing. We did the hard fork, and now some changes have been implemented. So now, there's a bunch of different changes. I posted those all for members on our Pristine Capital Discord server. Highlights, we are transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake. And then the other one that I think is super interesting, just from the investment angle, is now there's always going to be burning of Ethereum on all these transactions. So Ethereum is going to be taken out of the money supply. And that was always a headwind for Ethereum where, it's just there's new Ethereum coming into existence. Now this is going to reduce that new supply. And yeah, they had fantastic performances. So Ethereum initially dipped. It was down 6%. I ended up buying some on the dip. But yeah, because I was like, is this really going to be a sell the news event when we just had a huge protocol change that went off without a hitch? To me, that's like, it's almost like a fake dip. So yeah, Ethereum looked great. Bitcoin also, we had this pullback, not quite as strong on a relative basis as Ethereum. Yeah, Bitcoin is also, doing its thing, and it's pushing above these key moving averages. So yeah, looking very good. Okay, so let's talk about some of my trades for the day and really, where my head was at for this trading session. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a quick screenshot of this. So I did do some stock trading, and so I got long a starter position in Nvidia for $207. That was, pretty much right off the open. Nvidia has been, an incredibly strong name, and this one closed nice breakout above this monthly value area, and now we're pretty much trading right back at the all-time highs. Let's see, and then another trade that I put on, I added to my Ethereum, as I mentioned earlier, for $25. And I said, hard fork went smoothly, and that Ethereum ETF, ended up having a really nice close. So finished up at $26.50. We do have a virgin point of control up here in this Ethereum ETF at around $30. It's $29.56 to be exact. And then, lastly, I added to my MicroStrategy for $691.55. So what I did, I actually I had a loser. I closed out that one, and I was like, I'm putting in MicroStrategy because I think this one is just set up so nicely. I was just on a Twitter space. I mentioned this name. But just to reiterate, MicroStrategy, the short float on this name is 27.2%. And this company, it's basically a company that their primary mandate is, they're buying Bitcoin and they're just holding on to the Bitcoin. So this is a really good proxy for Bitcoin that you can just put in a brokerage account. Bitcoin had its, crazy crash. MicroStrategy crashed as well. And now this thing is breaking out in value. And I know there's all these shorts that are still in there. So I think that if we start to really push higher, This one is a prime candidate for a short squeeze. So yeah, I added to my position at about 693 and we closed up at 715. So that was, you know, nice clutch add there. And then what else do we have? So we had those. And then for some options trades. Okay, so I had some puts that I came into the session holding, and it was really just, you know, hey, if we have some weakness, you know, if we get some follow through tomorrow, I have these puts on deck. I closed out of those at 9:34 a.m. for a nice tiny stop loss. Closed at 7:05, paid 7.59. For me, I love those trades where you just keep your risk so tight. It's like, you know, I took a shot. Maybe today we did have a huge gap down. Today we ended up not having that, so I just, you know, took them right off. I got long some Square, September 17th, 300 strike calls. And Square, check this out. So Square, we didn't get like the glorious follow through that I think this stock could eventually, you know, end up having. But check this out. So I think I marked it off in my trading view. Let me just jump over to trading view. And that's Square. Okay, so it doesn't look like it saved all of it, but yeah, Square. So this one, we have this prior high right here at about, you know, 276. We cleared out of that high and we pretty much paused right there. And you can see this relative strength indicator right here, this green dot. Yeah, that means it closed at a new relative strength high. So Square looking very solid. Curious tomorrow to see if we can end up getting that push out. And my target for these is, you know, 300 bucks. Nice round even number for Square. And then I stopped out of my Futu position. So Futu right here. And really my goal was I want to make room to add to my micro strategy. So with that one, I still think Futu looks good for like a bottom fishing setup. I think this space is going to turn. And you can see we're just hanging out right around this monthly value area low. We're holding those levels. The volume is starting to come out of the stock. So I do think there's a chance that we move higher. But just in my hierarchy, you know, of essentially like hierarchy of trading needs, I was like, MicroStrategy looks so primed and ready to go that it just doesn't make sense for me to have my money in Futu right now because Futu doesn't look nearly as ready. So yeah, I closed that one out, added it to my MicroStrategy, ended up working out pretty well. And that about does it for my trades for today. Let's real quick, we'll jump into our options race just so you can see where the flow was throughout the session. I'm going to pull up my VigTech. And here we go. So we have our options matrix. I love this options race. Check this out. This is so cool. So this just shows you throughout the day where the options flow was. And yeah, a ton in Amazon and a ton in Tesla. Tesla is pretty much always the flow leader. I think there's just like a ton of traders. Wow, and then Apple moved to the front. Huh, so that's interesting. Let's see what Apple did today. And we'll leave off there. Okay, so Apple is just a little doji candle. So that's definitely one to watch. It's getting very quiet. So yeah, if we do end up breaking to the upside, you know, this one could be, you know, a good upside mover. Oh yeah, one thing before we break for today's session, we have jobless claims, or not jobless claims, the NFP numbers, non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Those are going to come out at 8:30 a.m. That comes out once a month on the first Friday of the month. Pretty much every fixed income desk, you know, because I used to work as a senior fixed income analyst on the Vanguard trading floor, everyone was always glued to the NFP numbers. That was always like the big report, and the bond market always makes a move off of it, and the stock market usually follows in tandem. So at 8:30 a.m. that is coming out. I'm going to be watching that, and you know, I think that's going to determine the pace for the day. But with that being said, we all made it to Friday. Hope you all had an awesome trading session. I'll see you all tomorrow.